Hey YouTube, Gagaman here with another Watcher Realms video. Today we are talking about the new Immortal Codex fight, the Hellfire Emperor. This fight sees us using our tanks versus using our DPS and healers like we have used in our previous fights. This fight is a lot about strategy with some slight gear importances. So let's kind of take a look and see what we're dealing with. So the main mechanic of the fight is Sulkadins will be sending out infernals across the map. There will be 4 spawn points once we activate the boss rush mode. 2 spawn points at the top, 2 spawn points at the bottom. These infernals will cycle in from the sides and work their way through all the way. Then they will go through a middle lane and up. Every one that reaches the boss increases the damage that the boss does. So you want to be able to block as many units as possible. There are 2 different types of enemy units. The first being the Fire Seeker, the second being the Fire Fanatic. If you look, you will notice that they have the same exact movesets. The main differences is going to be their HP, attack, and resistances. So our Fire Seekers are lower HP, but they have higher defense and resistance, whereas our Fire Fanatics have the higher attack. When the boss pulses, he will do an AoE out, which will deal damage to our enemies. They also take gradual damage over time. Our units, when boss mode is activated, will have a healing effect, where they will heal over time. Any of the enemy units that die, when they die, the closest unit to them will restore HP. So pretty important to note. So let's go ahead and talk about who we kind of want to use for the fight. Take a look at our tanks. The biggest unit you can use is going to be King Hars. King Hars has a wonderful Lord bonus for this. So our Lord bonus that we are kind of crutching on is the shield that goes out. So he's going to be periodically granting allies a shield. His faction allies a shield equal to 30% of their max HP. Other allies get a shield equal to 15% of their max HP. That shield lasts for 20 seconds. Pretty nice to have. If you don't have King Hars and you have Isolde, you will notice that she also grants out faction allies a shield. This is only going to be for the faction allies though, not for everybody else. So King Hars has a better Lord skill for that. King Hars also works really well because when he is shielded, his attack has a chance to freeze enemies. He also, his ultimate will surrounding enemies will be frozen, so that works out really well. Another really good tank to bring is going to be Brokir. Brokir, not only does he have the damage reduction taken to allies, which won't give anybody, but it works for him. If the hero is inflicted with freeze, he also takes reduced damage. He also has a chance to freeze enemies. So the more you skill it up, the more it's going to be. 15% if the full skill up's on there. When he is frozen, that increases by 20%. So any way that you can slow enemies down is going to be very beneficial. Another really good hero to take is going to be Avalyn. So Avalyn really hasn't seen a lot of use. When I started playing 2 months ago, I was told she wasn't very good. However, if you look at her, you will notice that she has the highest block rate. So she has a 4 base block. If you pair that with Bastion Ring, she's going to be able to block 5 units at the same time. She also, for an epic defender, has one of the higher base HP pools in the game. So look at her HP pool, she's at 23k base. We go to one of our legendaries, so we'll go to King Hars. He's at 26.5. So really, not that much off of a legendary defender. We take a look at Baron. So Baron also has a higher HP pool. He'll be one that we'll be talking about here in a second. And so Isolde, so only 20k. So she works out very, very well. If you have her awakened, she also works very well for her awakenings. So every 5% restores 5% HP for every 5 basic attacks. If you stack attack speed on her, it's going to help sustain. If you can get your heroes to sustain in this, it helps out tremendously. And then her A3, every enemy target hit by the ultimate, the hero gains a shield equal to 5% of max HP. So the more you have her awakened, the better. At A5, she gets 15% defense increase. Obviously, that's going to help out tremendously too. So another really good unit, Baron. Baron's going to be fantastic. So not only does his ultimate provide a shield, he's going to get a shield for his max HP, but also he has an undying passive, right? So if he dies, he's going to be in the unyielding state. So he'll sit in there. If you have awakens, that's going to go up in duration. So you're going to get him in an unyielding state. And then if you have him A5, he's going to recover 50% of his HP when he gets out of that unyielding state. So he works really, really well. And Solde, another really good tank to bring. So she's going to gain defense for each enemy blocked. Really nice to have. Her ultimate is a shield. It applies damage reduction. So, and it increases her block by 1. For allies in range. Which, again, not really going to be beneficial, but it is nice to have. And then her flash attack triggered is going to do AoE, again, nice, but the big thing here is it's going to generate extra rage, which that rage is going to get her shield back. If you notice a trend with the heroes that we're picking, they're all shielding heroes. So if you can have shielding heroes, it can be very beneficial. You could bring somebody like Regulus. Regulus does have the unyielding as well. His triggers at 20%, 10% HP, and so you can't really control that, because as soon as he hits 10%, he's going to hit that. I don't like him as much as bringing Baron. Baron's also easier to build. He's an epic hero, so he's kind of my choice. But if you don't have Baron, don't have a max awakened, you could go for Regulus. Regulus does increase his max HP by 40% with his ultimate, so you do get that. However, it is pretty high rage cost. You're going to get that reduced down to 1000 rage, still though it's very high rage cost. Another person you could bring is Livian. Livian does have some sustain when she does her shield toss, so she's going to get HP back. And then her shield bounce, so it can bounce up to 3 times without awakening. If you have her awaken, you're going to get an extra bounce in there. And awaken 3 is also going to increase the amount that you do get healing whenever that shield bounces. So you can bring Livian as well. She's not going to get that shield, and it makes a huge difference. You can bring Titus. Titus is a very unique tank, but for this he kind of works really well. So he is going to apply Thermal Barrier when he takes damage. It's going to increase his damage reduction. When you use his ultimate, it's going to restore 5% of his HP per second. So if you do get max skills on it, you're going to be able to get 6% HP per second. It lasts for 25 seconds. So he does have some sustain there. You can get it down to 900 rage. And he does work out for that. If you do have him awakened at all, his A1 is going to provide some extra damage reduction. His A3 is going to increase the rate of speed of his thermal barrier. And then his A5 is going to inflict burning. It's not going to do much for this. Enemies only take 1 damage from any attacks, so it's going to be a constant 1 damage taken. But if you have him A5, you have him A5. A3 is kind of where you want him for the generation of the thermal barrier to help him defensively. I thought about trying out Ardith. Interesting set. So he does get some HP out of his ultimate. He also does through his awakening have a chance to restore HP. So I thought about bringing him, just wasn't really, I didn't really want to build him to try it out, but you can try it out. I like to look at the leaderboards to see who's using what. It gives me an idea of kind of the better units to go with. So now that we talked about some heroes you can use, I would not bring Constance in. Constance, I tried her, but I mean, she can be in range of one unit, heal him up, but she does not work. She gets destroyed. Tordor isn't bad. His ultimate will provide stuns, so it does help to slow enemies down. But apart from that, he does get torn up pretty quick. He'll trigger that unyielding state pretty fast. But you could go with Tordor if you don't have anybody else to go with. So I'm gonna bring Hars, Olag. I'm gonna bring Brokir, Avalyn, yeah, epic-wise, like I mentioned, there's a few you can bring, but Isolde is going to be kind of one of the top ones to bring, and then definitely Baron. Let's go ahead and hop in and see if we can't take a look at the fight. Alright, so we're going to start off with just waves of enemies. We'll start by placing my two stronger tanks up at the top. Olag is going to cover the left and Brokir on the right. Now I'm going to put King Hars under Brokir with Baron. Then we're going to have Isolde right behind Baron. 2 placements back with Avalyn in the middle. So we want our 2 tanks that can handle receiving quite a bit more damage. Olag has phenomenal shielding, so he'll be able to hold his own really well. Brokir, he has that shield, that's an ultimate. He also has an unyielding state. I put King Hars behind Brokir just because his ultimate's going to freeze. He also has really nice shielding. And then Baron underneath King Hars. I like to put Avalyn in that middle lane versus having her in one of the sides, specifically because she has that 5 block with Bastion's Ring. So beginning, we're just going to let stuff go once the boss first started. Our heroes are going to be receiving HP over time, so anything that also dies within range. So I know that when my enemies are going to die, they're either going to die closer to Isolde and Baron, occasionally dying close to King Hars, but not on the later parts of the fight. And then Brokir and Olag aren't going to get as much healing. They are still going to get quite a bit from enemies, just not as much. And that's just because the travel time for the enemies, they're losing HP over time. When they hit my last tanks, those tanks are going to get more of the healing from them. In around the 400 to 500 range, the rate of enemies is going to start to pop up quite a bit more. So now it's just going to be trying to slow them down as much as possible. Timing King Hars' ultimate to freeze and slow down enemies when there's groups of enemies around. Brokir, we're going to ult when there's enemies around them as well. And then Isolde and Baron, we just want to try to keep it alive, so we're going to pop their shield whenever we can. Avalyn is an auto ult, you don't have to worry about her. Olag, we're not going to use his ult at all, because if we do, he's not going to get shielding. And we're pretty much just going to ride through. Baron's down, so now it's just waiting for everything to go. Avalyn's down. And hopefully this setup kind of helps you guys get a better understanding of the fight, kind of what to aim for. I'll show you kind of the quick setup for everybody's gear. We'll talk about that. And with showing you guys gear, for what I have equipped, I mean, S+, top 5%, and as you'll see, I have nothing too incredibly fancy. So let's go ahead and take a look at our tanks. The King Hars, he is an all plus 16, he has a Mortal Warrior on the left, no sets on the right. He's just about 100k health. Brokir, just over 100k health, again, no sets on the right. Mortal Warrior on the left. And most of their stats are in the blues, unless it's these ancients, but mostly I went with them because they were HP bonuses. With Brokir and King Hars, especially King Hars, I tried to get as much attack speed in as I could. He's going to be able to freeze. He has that chance of freezing from attacking, so it works out really well for him. Avalyn would benefit from attack speed, and specifically because of that Awakening Right. Every 5 of basic attack, she's going to get 5% HP, so if you can get attack speed for her, great. I just went with gear that I had. She's instead of Life Force on the left, and then again, no stats, no sets on the right. She's got 92k HP. Brokir, my man that tanks everything in the game for me. Mortal Warrior on the left. On the right, broken set. He has just about 84k HP. Baron, plus 12, all on the right side. No sets. Life Force on the left. He has almost 73k. And then Isolde. So she has just about 76k. Again, no sets on the right. Life Force on the left. With all of our heroes being shielding heroes, the higher their health pool, the higher their shielding amount is going to be. So we just want to stack as much life on as possible. If I had Guardian sets, obviously that would increase their defense. I just have not had any good Guardian pieces drop, so we're just going broken sets. And then artifact wise, so Isolde, Norse Will, not leveled, and that's just to help with her HP sustain. And then all my other tanking heroes are going to be in Bastion's Ring, and they all vary from plus 10s, plus 1s. I think King Hars is plus 3. Yep. So nothing too fancy, but hopefully the strategy kind of helps you guys out a little bit, and placement. Main thing is just kind of test it, see what works for you. But hope that helped. If you have any questions, need anything answered for you, feel free to drop some comments and ask. I'll try to get them answered for you. Thanks for watching.